I have been into digital industry since 2007, and I'm an biotech engineer with education in patent IPR from IIT Delhi. And almost I ran my first agency for 10 years, then sold it to a media house, moved to a senior profile out there, and was hunting bigger tickets. Then in 2020 I took an exit and started working upon web 3.0 ecosystems and how actually this is evolving. With this, I was actually helping a couple of e-commerce brands and web 3.0 brands in India and abroad. So that's my introduction. And if you allow me, I have made a small presentation. I'll quickly walk you through all of you on today's topic, and then we can probably have all the questions and all the queries that might come up. So today's topic is social media marketing. On one side, it seems to be very, simple, but on the other side, it has a very strong, depth, and a careful planning for each and every step needs to be taken care of. So before we move forward, let's understand what is the purpose of being on social media. It can only be in four categories. One is to educate, one is to engage, one is community building up, and this is the most important element of social media marketing, which almost basis my experience, almost 70% brands always misses. Then comes the conversion. So apart from these four purposes, you can hardly write like hiring someone or doing some collaboration, but that will eventually fall in all these three four categories only. And before I take you further, I would like to like you to understand with what we are dealing with. We are dealing with algorithms which are not so evolved as Google. So in most of the cases, they want you to use hashtags and similar kind of words and phrases as per your industry standards, so that their algorithms can understand what you are trying to convey. The first key signal that they always see, their algorithms always see, whether it's LinkedIn or any other channel, is relevance and not reach. Reach is always a byproduct of kind of content that you have created and the kind of media that you are using to push it out. But the most important element is relevance on a particular subject. Is it simply, the algorithm can simply marry to the industry or not? And accordingly, it will rank you. Second, most important signal that they consider is recency, how recently you have posted. And then comes other bifurcation of it. Recency ka bifurcation are those like, what is the frequency that you keep a tap on? Are you regular or you are not? And the third signal is resonance. Is the content that you are actually sharing out is making some kind of sense to the community that you are trying to convey and communicate? Why I wanted to briefly walk you through algorithms, because end of the day we are going to deal with them only. So it's not Facebook gonna push me up or push me down. It's the mechanism that they work with, their business works with, and therefore it is necessary to understand that they are going to use these three kind of key pillars to rank your content that you produce. Okay, and then comes, no, this is my favorite topic to talk about. When I say what are the kind of social media channels you can think of, if I ask you name few, so generally it comes like Insta, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, max, done. But if you break down social media channels basis the kind of features and characteristics they give you as end customer and as a brand, you can categorize them in multiple folds. First one is social audio platforms and formats. And please keep a note of it that at this point of time, podcast advertising in the developed nations is going exponentially up, and which clearly indicates that it is going to come in India also. India is already witnessing a lot of audio platforms, and how they are actually going up over a period of time. So typically it's Clubhouse, Twitter Space, and Spotify. These are the places where you can actually contribute to the community, uh, do some educational stuff, and make your brand more relevant. Then comes video social media platforms and their formats. Typically, video social media platforms are YouTube, TikTok, Insta Stories, Reels, and Facebook Watch. In India, TikTok is not there, but rest of the stuff is pretty much here. Then comes disappearing content format. This is where a lot of innovation happens, but generally all the brands misses this out. Okay, so it's Snapchat, Instagram stories, stories in Facebook and LinkedIn, etc. Then comes closed and private communities on social media platforms. And believe me, if your product is end of the day dealing with the new age audience, these are the channels that you cannot leave. Discord, Slack, Facebook groups, Telegrams, and similar kind of groups and communities where people are communicating in a closed environment. Doesn't matter whether they have hidden their identity or not. Then comes social shoppable social media platforms and features. This includes Pinterest product pins, and Pinterest is fabulous. You need to understand the mechanism, and a lot can happen positively for your brand. Then Facebook shops, Instagram shops, TikTok, Shopify, Dion, and Tabao. Then comes discussion and forums like Reddit, Quora, Telegram, and Discord, where people actually go and discuss different topics and subjects. Then comes live media streaming. Social media live streaming is Twitch, YouTube, Insta, Facebook, and TikTok. If I talk about business social media platforms, it's LinkedIn and Twitter. And believe me, Twitter is beautiful. It's just in India, we primarily use it for politics and news circulation. But if you see the audience around, and even in India, the new age audience is pretty much active on Twitter. Then comes inspirational social media platforms, which are Pinterest, YouTube, Insta, and blogs. These are the places where people go and consume a lot of content, the long form of content. And the craziest one is metaverse. So when you are actually taking your brand in the market, you need to understand which channels are important to you, and on which channel how you are actually going to behave. It's just like when you are going for a event, you wear different kind of clothes, you present yourself in a different way, like you post on LinkedIn, and you are a different person when you are posting on Facebook. So same psychology has to be there when you are actually working on any form of content that you are creating. And I'll walk you through the further steps of doing it right. Now let's talk about this fabulous law. It's law of diffusion of innovation. So generally what happens is brands think that this income level and this geography, this is my audience. It doesn't work like that. If you see carefully around your network, around your close connects, you will find these five kind of peoples: innovators, which are pretty much quick to adapt anything it is, if the technology can speak right, and they are ready to take out that bet. Then early adapters, these are people already aware of the need of the change and are very comfortable in adopting new things and new ideas and new innovations. Then comes early majority, then late majority, and laggards. You will find these kind of people in your network and community also. So this is how it works. So if you see it carefully, social media platforms, then comes whom to target, then comes the kind of content, and we'll talk in the coming slides. But we need to be, as a business, be honest on which phase of the business is happening at this point of time, and in 3 months and in 6 months, and accordingly choose the channels and the kind of content. Now comes the important element: is whom should the brand target? Remember this. Why would they care? This will be addressed by what is the kind of brand you are. You cannot be on social media networks and assume that I'll go there and I'll start having conversions. No, it will not happen. It's a cycle. It is a time taking process. In some cases, it is a 7-day process for a conversion. from education or introduction to conversion. In some cases it is couple of hours, and in some cases it's couple of months also. So basis the industry and the product and the audience that you're trying to reach and the phase where your business is at this point of time, you need to answer this. Why would they care? Because that's the most important element. And I'll quickly take you little out of this social media discussion that we are having, and I'll walk you towards the psychology. I'm sure you all must have gone through that kind of challenge when you say that everything seems to be right, but I just can't buy it. Or your customer says that everything is fine, you are giving me every answer that I need to know, but somehow it's not clicking. That's the emotion that needs to be triggered. You haven't brand as a brand, you haven't addressed the emotion, and therefore the why is not getting answered, and therefore the conversion is not happening as quick as it could. Then how to educate and engage them? Brand needs to understand this, and then decide what are the type of content and the CTs, call to actions, that needs to be implanted in a particular strategy. And then we'll come to where shall I reach out, which is the all these channels and the purpose that they're going to solve in the entire journey. So we need to understand that social media is not about creating a posting the same post across all channels, same copy across all channels, same hashtags across all channels, same visual format across all channels, and expecting a miracle out of it. That's not going to happen. So if you are actually serious about it, do it right. And believe me, it just takes I'll say 1.3x more efforts in comparison to 1x effort that you are already putting in to do it right. Because most of the time I have heard from n number of clients, and I've already if I'm conservative, I have gone through 100 plus business relations during my last 15 years of journey in India, in abroad, in different industries, ed tech, educational, real estate, FMCG, e-commerce, etc., etc., etc. And I have found one thing that we create social media posts same for all the channels. That's not going to happen. That's not, people are not going to consume it. That post that you are making will be relevant to one of them, one of these, not every social media platform, because every social media platform, just like us, is a unique medium to communicate. And you need to understand what people do there when they are using that particular channel, that medium, to consume something. So if this is clear in our head, it will be very easy to actually just take out pen and paper and identify the audience, identify different relevant points, and then make the strategy and figure out the audience sets.
Sorry to cut you, Agam. There is this one question that Darshana has. So would you like to take it up right now, or you want to?
Right away, sir, right away.
Darshana,
Yeah,
go ahead.
so yeah, hi. I just want to ask you, you told that there is always a different post for a different medium. Like Insta is also for the entertainment and Facebook is also for the entertainment. And we are from EdTech. So if I'm targeting parents as a my customer, so why it has to be different and how it has to be different?
I'll answer that. I'm assuming that in edtech you are offering a service, or you are offering a
Darshana,
product.
it will be helpful if you can just give him a brief introduction about your company, the business
Yeah.
that you're in.
So we are a premium Android app for the students who are giving competitive exams like JEE NEET, and we are helping them to schedule their entire curriculum, and we are helping them to remove their burnouts. So ultimately, the performance increases and their marks increases.
Okay, so Darshana, you are actually offering a product come service.
Yes, service.
Yes, but basis the product that you have, basis the algorithm that you have,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay, so see, Darshana, you need to understand there are not just two set of audience you are going to deal with. There are multiple. So I'll tell you. You got to deal with parents. You already said that. You got to deal with students. You already said that. But you
Yes,
also need to deal with the mentors, the teachers, the people who are in close touch with these two, the
correct.
student and the parent. Okay, then you have to, if if you actually want to grow this business in a very beautiful way, and make it a unicorn, you also need to understand that this entire marketing needs to seed some kind of relevance for coming investments and policies and collaborations in the coming days. So first, you got multiple set of audience. Does it is always your call as a business owner which TG set is important to you at this point of time. But with all the startups and entrepreneurs I have worked with, they always think about today and yesterday.
Okay.
When I'm saying yesterday, most of the time we are behind our timelines. One, we don't make timelines. If we by chance make timelines, for example, launching a particular feature in the product, or launching a particular mm, um, equation, any kind of equation, whether it can be submissions, submissions, or anything else, we are always behind our timelines. That's the reason I said yesterday or today. We don't think about what is going to come after 3 months or 6 months. So
Correct.
some energy has to go there. Now coming back to your topic, your question, that Facebook and Insta both are visual platforms. Pretty much yes, but Facebook and Insta have different kind of mindsets. When I say this, I'll explain you. If you go deeper in the numbers, Facebook is all about timeline. The backbone behind Facebook is timeline. Although they have reels, they have stories, they have video content,
Status.
everything is there,
Photos.
everything is there. But the key thing that is consumed is the timeline. People scroll. Okay.
Okay.
If I talk about Instagram is a more visual, comparatively more visual platform, where different form of content comes into picture.
Hmm.
The short, the static, the long form, okay, and those kind of ecosystems. So if you are making a post on Facebook, what I said is, if you're making a post on, say for example, it's about 10% off on your product. If somebody downloads it, there's the coupon code. If this is the communication, now if this is the communication, it is more relevant to the students and parents. Parents भी बाद में, पहले students.
Students.
ठीक. अब जब आप स्टूडेंट्स की बात करोगे ना, and you see the data points behind all the kind of users on internet and on different social media channels, Instagram will become more relevant to you.
Okay.
And you would like to communicate in a GIF format, or in a short video format, to increase the conversion rate. Okay.
Correct.
So it's not about just posting out a stuff. Nobody is going to stop you. You post same, doesn't matter. But in दोनों का जो backbone है, with the principle that these two channels work and function, is different. One is timeline and one is the choice of the content.
Okay.
And therefore, if a brand is choosing to communicate, or देखो, in last 2 minutes we discussed what is the kind of content that is going to go out. आप एक moment पे, एक जब content you are generating, you are generating it with a specific purpose.
Correct.
And startups always think of one purpose, which is conversion. आगे पीछे कुछ नहीं. Okay, that's a typical case, and I'm not blaming anyone. It's how it is, and it will be. So when a CTA is a conversion, then we need to understand which audience we want to convert. That is one. Second, what is the phase of their journey? Are they already my customer and I'm doing a upselling? Or have they downloaded but they haven't used my ecosystem, or they haven't even got to know me? So you need to understand that phase, because that's the copy you are going to make, right?
Okay.
Once you freeze the copy and the CT and the visual, now you know which channel is going to behave in your favor.
Okay.
If you want to actually, in your case, if you actually want to target institutions and do a bulk selling in one go,
Right.
LinkedIn is a beautiful tool. Emailers are beautiful tool for you.
Right.
Okay, but if it is one-to-one conversation, then you need to understand what is the TG, what is the journey that they are in, and what is the call to action that I want to push out. And accordingly, choose primary channel, primary content, post it out on every other platform, doesn't matter. But you need, as a business owner, you need to understand आप क्या कर रहे हो, आपके लिए prime क्या है. Because Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Insta are not going to behave same for the same kind of content.
Correct.
They're different. So that's what my point was, that if you carefully, Darshana, there is a beauty called hashtags.
Right.
अगर आप पोस्ट करने से पहले हल्का सा सर्च कर लेंगे ना on all these social media networks, you will find different hashtags on a particular industry or a particular sub industry.
Okay.
If you use them, and it's a small hack, if you use them, you'll see different kind of outcomes.
Correct. So if I want to target a tuition teachers or coaching classes, the hashtag related to tuition teachers and coaching classes I have to take into the consideration while posting it, correct?
Absolutely. And then if you are talking about these two categories that you just mentioned, it has to have something that they will find it attractive. क्योंकि टीचर फर्टर्निटी में ना एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है, आई एम सेइंग दिस, दिस इज माय 15 years of experience in education. They know it all.
Okay.
You need to give them something. If you are trying to convert these mentors and these influencers, key opinion leader, I say them key opinion leader because they carry an experience in a category, right? So if you want to convert them, give them something which is valuable. Now you as a brand need to decide whether it's a newsletter, whether it's a research paper, whether it's a referral program, that you need to decide, because I haven't gone through the communication that you are doing as a brand. But once you have done that, you will see the conversion rate and cost per conversion will be in favor of the brand.
Correct.
So that's what my aim was while I was saying that. Hope I answered your query.
Yes. Thank you.
Pleasure. Any other query, or should I move forward?
Yeah, continue.
Sure. Thank you. So now we are on the type of content that we have. And generally, when I talk about this, I get a typical response that it's a visual static post, carousel, or video. Okay. But if you think carefully about the type of content that a brand can use and explore and use it ruthlessly, it is user generated content, which is a fabulous thing if a brand can actually plant it. Then quotes, podcasts, live streams, articles, infographics, webinar. Here is a better list: audience question, ebook, guides, memes, polls, industry research and finding, videos, educational content. Then product promotion, ask me anything, sharing trending topics, GIFs, influencer collaborations, stories on all these social networks, post collaborations, and customer testimonial. So if you see it, you have the entire month calendar in front of you. और तब भी आप justice नहीं कर पाओगे. You'll not be able to do justice because at max you are going to do ask me anything twice a month. But in your industry, it is more relevant. Okay, it is working fabulously in Web 3.0. And by the way, the edtech as an industry is going to have an experience, the taste of Web 3.0 very soon, whether we like it or not. So is this something that can bring value to you? Because that's an exciting emotion. Okay, so these are the kind of content that a brand can actually create and communicate in a better way. And above all this, sorry, I missed something. No, yeah. So you got a lot of categories. I call them buckets where your content can fit in. Now decide the audience and the journey and create one. Then comes, if this is what social media marketing is, how to proceed, because this seems to be very not so easy and not doable by one person, but it is. I'll walk you through how. First thing first, define the purpose. Why are you there? Some brands choose not to go on social media network, and it's absolutely fine. But if you are going there, what is the purpose? And most important, what is the purpose of the brand? Because why I'm saying this, because end of the day, somebody is going to consume your product and your services. What is the thing that they are going to talk about? Is it matching with the vision and the placement and the perception of the organization, or there is a requirement of some tweaking I'll give you a raw example. While doing emailers or while doing social media posts, most of the time we use free images from different networks. Okay. But is this what you want your brand to be recognized with? Think about it. Think about the content that is going to go out on your name. Is it making relevance? It is defining the purpose. If it is, it's cool. Then you need to also understand where is your brand in the law of diffusion of innovation. Market by capturing power kya hai brand ki. Accordingly define the purpose. Then comes identify audience and their CTAs. And as I told you, you got multiple buckets of audience. You need to understand who is the prime, who is the secondary, who is the tertiary, and what are the CTAs that they can take. So for example, a principal or a management committee of a school chain, what is the kind of CTAs they can take on the content that you're generating? Think about it, and you will see a lot of ideas coming into your mind, which will actually help you in the longer run and in the short run today and in the coming days. Then basis these two elements, finalize channel those content buckets. So you need to finalize these and then the content bucket, because not every kind of content is going to go on every social media network. You need to figure out, and then what is the innovation you are bringing on table. And it can be as simple as creating a anthem for all the people who are going to go and give an exam on Spotify and market it ruthlessly. People will not take you as a startup. People start thinking if it is coming on Spotify, they are taking that pain, and it hardly costs you $50 on different freelancing websites if the cost comes into your mind. But I'm just giving you an idea. Use these kind of channels which excites your audience. If the audience is absolute management people in principal kind of thing, use LinkedIn and emailers and use them beautifully. You show them the automation power you have. The moment they click on something, you should know about it. And all these tools and channels are free, by the way. Then figure out the competition. So why it is necessary. So most of the time when we keep an eye on the competition, we keep an eye on the competition by just one thought: what are they doing? In social media network, you need to figure out your competition and keep an eye on them with a thought that what is the kind of innovation and engagement is happening in my industry. बहुत बार flowing in the same stream helps you more and more instead of running against it. If few things are happening good in your category and competitions are taking leverage of it, they are taking benefit out of it, why don't just you replicate it? There's no need to reinvent the wheel all the time. So figure out the competition, and when you are doing so, figure out what you want to extract from it. Just put the alerts and notifications on, and rest of the job will be taken care by the algorithms. Then finalize tools and dashboards. This is one place where most of the startups don't invest money upon, is to freeze the tools and the dashboards. By tools I mean, what are the kind of automation you are going to use. By dashboard, I mean over a period of time, whether it's a day, week, month, quarter, year, what is the kind of report you want out of it. All these are free. All you have to do is use Google or ask. Then comes identify KPIs, funnels, and database building up strategy. Now, this is a relevant thing in your industry, and it is going to make a strong dent for the brands who do it right and for the brands who don't do it right. Third party cookies is going to go out. iPhone have already done it. Android have to do it. There's no other option. If that is the case, is there any kind of database that you take care of? I'll give you an example. So at this point of time, I'm traveling, and what I realized is it doesn't matter which is the hotel chain you visit most of the time and be their guest, they don't work upon database. They are taking care of and taking my Aadhaar, my pen kind of details. They'll always have my phone number, my email ID, my date of birth, my address, all these database. If they build it right in their ecosystem, and you as a tech companies can always do it. If these are the people who have downloaded your application, who are they, what device they used, what time they invested, did any sign up, did they actually paid you, etc, etc. What is the funnel that they are going through, what are the KPIs that you want to measure and optimize and improvise. In some cases the KPIs is the downloads. There has to be so many downloads. In some KPIs it's download plus sign up. In some KPIs are download, signups and payment. So this is your KPIs, funnels and database building strategy has to be in place. Then do a lot of A/B testing. Believe me, customers always give you a surprise. Do a A/B testing on the copy, on the landing page. Most of the time those are very poor, the CTAs and the visuals that you are using. And over a period of quarter, you will absolutely know if this is the audience, this is the call to action I want them to take. Use this kind of copy and use this kind of visual. That's it. It is going to help you. And your conversion rate is going to go up and your cost per conversion is going to come down. That's what every business wants. Then decide what is the kind of media budget you have. Because understand one thing, all these social media networks are business organizations, and they are not those no those NGOs kind of universe. They want to make money and they'll make money. So help them make some money, use their paid media ecosystems to ensure that your communication is reaching out to everyone. And there is an article, probably I believe it was launched by Facebook a couple of years back. They said if you got money to make post and use them for your business, make just one and use the other two, budget of the other two in the media push, so that it is reaching out to everyone. Then figure out the kind of collaborations you can do. So I'll explain this with little example. The kind of brands and the kind of individuals I'm doing collaboration with is directly proportional to the brand perception that I'm going to take out in the market. So don't always look for freebies or people who are not taking money, or are they doing on barter system. Think about what is the brand image that is going to go out, because it's you haven't started your organization just for one shot. It's a long run. Then apart from collaborations, figure out who are the influencers in your category. Can you do any kind of collaborations with them so that your numbers go exponentially up? And if numbers are going exponentially up every year, every time frame, you are in the right seat, taking right decisions all the time. Let's take a case or two to understand what I just told you, and then we can take it.
There is no questions. You can go ahead.
Ask me. I'm sure you must be, if there is a Facebook agency or a social media agency that you have hired, I'm sure a lot of time the debate and discussion and the problem concerns are creative में मजा नहीं आ रहा.
So
चीजें
I just want to ask you how these people make a community, like how you really create a community,
Okay.
and how much time it takes to create a community.
Okay. So before I answer this, let me just for my understanding that we are on the same page, let me walk you through what is the need of community. Okay. If you have realized over a period of 10 years, and I believe we are all almost same age group, kind of same ticket size, I'll say in my language, we have seen and witnessed and experienced and heard it a lot of time that whenever Apple launches a product, there is a line outside their stores.
Correct.
Always pre-order, always. The reason that happens is because when they launch a product, they only focus on their communities. अगर आप किसी भी एप्पल प्रोडक्ट को देखोगे ना, After 6 months almost, they talk about privacy. They'll
Correct.
talk about something else. But in the initial time, they'll only talk about one feature that is going to make a dent in the community. That's how Apple sells. And the beauty of community is the moment a community starts working in favor of your business or product or service, you don't have to think about what is the conversion that is going to come up, because these burgers will start referring your brand all the time. They'll praise you all the time, even in on drinks, on a coffee meeting, everywhere they'll just brag about it. That's what Apple did. Now I'll tell you few more communities like Red Club, OnePlus. They a fabulous brand, doing the justice with the audience set they want to deal with. They introduced Red Club. They started giving these 2000 rupees off on different products if you buy through them. But the problem is they didn't invested anything in terms of the content in the communities, and therefore nobody talks about it. At one point of time, we used to ask our friends, do you have an invitation of OnePlus, because I want to have OnePlus.
Correct.
From that experience and community, they are here.
So
They are
how they have built this community? I just want to understand. See, like,
I'm coming there. I'm coming there. So first thing, as a brand, you need to understand what is the communication you want to do, what is your seeding policy, and what best you are ready to give to the community. Acha, isme na Darshana, if you go back a bit and let's just don't think about our businesses and technology and digital, etc. We as human beings have a psychology of asking for a review. If I want to buy a car, I'll figure out, okay, I have planned for Harrier. I'll figure out a person in my network who has bought that product, and I'll simply call and ask or chat and ask, is the product good or bad? So as a human beings, we have DNA to cross check it all the time. और जो नहीं करते ना, वो लोग होते हैं लॉ ऑफ डिफ्यूजन ऑफ इनोवेशन में, जो बिल्कुल अर्ली वाले हैं, जो रिस्क खुद लेंगे.
right.
And
First
either
attempting it.
either they'll be your brand evangelist, or they'll talk a lot negative about you on internet. उनको छोड़ दो, तो बाकी सब जनरली always take a reference point. So जब communities की आप बात करते हैं ना, तो community is something, say for example 100 people have registered in your product, in your business. That's the community.
Okay.
So हम business owners के साथ क्या होता है कि the moment a conversion is done, हम भूल जाते हैं. हम भूल जाते हैं कि वो इंसान तो रहने वाला है. It's that person is going to be there on earth and going to communicate. Are we giving them any kind of weapons to communicate? Are we actually enabling them to justify their decision which is an association with your brand? Are we creating any kind of content? Are we emailing them? Are we saying, is there anything that we can do on WhatsApp? So channels, type of communication can always be different basis the product and industry and the audience, but are we communicating back?
So what should be the intervals in between? We should continue everyday post, or it should be some 7-day one post. How it should go about?
So do you have something new every day in your product or your service?
Not every day.
If the answer is not every day, a 2 to 3 post a week is a fabulously good frequency.
Okay. Got it.
But brands like Make My Trip, or brands like Topper, brands like Extra Marks or Educom, there are few brands who have to communicate on a daily basis, only because of the fact they have a huge customer base.
Okay.
And the differentiators between all of them. So if you do the community right, if you let them help, and community को भूल जाओ, ये word ही भूल जाओ आप सीधा बस ये ध्यान रखो, जिनको मैं convert कर चुका हूँ या कर चुकी हूँ, what is the content that is going out for them in one-to-one and one-to-many basis. That's it. That's the community you will build. Because if you are saying that are you experiencing It could simple सा आप ओला उबर जैसे इकोसिस्टम से ले लो, या अर्बन क्लैप एग्जांपल देता हूँ. Somebody came to pedicure to your house. The moment that lady leaves, they ask for a feedback of her. If by chance you give her a 5-star rating, automatically the next pop-up comes out is, would you like to rate urban clap?
Right.
If and ये करके देखना, and give it 1.5 or 2-star rating, they'll not give you a pop-up to rate it on the Play Store, urban clap ko, because they know that they have already messed it up. And if by chance they open that communication medium, their application pages are going to get fucked. So you need to decide, if a person is happy, what kind of communication can go out. If there is a concern, what kind of communication should go out. So as a brand and aapki journey, because you are starting, you can always experiment. Okay, but definitely do it, because these are the people who are going to convince the other people to come
Right.
and be part of it.
Yeah.
And aapka cost per conversion niche jayega drastically within 3 months, I can guarantee that.
Pratham, would you like
Hi.
to introduce yourself to the mentor and any question that you have regarding social media marketing?
Yeah, sure. So, Agam, hi. I am
Hi.
Pratham. I am the co-founder of Udentech. We are developing a portal which helps students in upskilling and then consequently getting them placed in companies.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now also this session was very important for us because we are also struggling with how to manage our social media marketing in some in a more precise way and making sure that we are getting those call to actions done and uh, everything that is happening on social media is somehow giving our platform some kind of visibility.
Right.
So we are currently at that level. My question to you is: so if we have our major audience right now is corporates who we hire, who we get as clients, and students or job seekers, right? So I would right now we are also doing it, but it would be great if I can get your input on it. LinkedIn would be the best way to go about it, right? Or how, or if there is any other platform, can you let me know what platform should we use to work on this?
So Pratham, thing is, LinkedIn is beautiful, no doubt, but then it depends on what is the communication you want to make. So
Okay.
if it is a serious communication and you are actually giving out research or a observation, LinkedIn is fabulous. But if it is not the case, then LinkedIn will behave poorly on the kind of content that you will put it on. Plus, in the education and technology industry, and where you are actually building up the careers, you need to think about something which is influencers. And when I say influencers, ज़्यादातर ना हमारे दिमाग में एक ही चीज आती है, those reels, Instagram and TikTok reels. Whereas an influencer is
Yeah.
even education minister of our country. Anybody who can influence on a bigger scale. So what I'll advise you, that you go via two way. One, what can get you multiple conversions in a single shot. That's the influencer that the person will do. An influencer can even be a small series of communication in economic times. Small, just a small banner. आप ना पता है होता क्या है, what we think is, अगर मैं digital marketing सोच रहा हूँ तो I have to only narrow down towards digital marketing. That's what digital marketing is. That's not the case. First, you are a brand owner. Second, it's your responsibility to close the loop. So on one side, figure out what can take your brand perception to a next level where people will trust you, because education is all about trust. Okay. Second is, basis that bigger thing that you have done, what are the kind of communication break you can do. It can be Instagram, it can be Twitter, because nowadays a lot of youngsters are there on Twitter and talking crazy threads. Okay, I'll give an example. Why don't you
Okay.
do a influencer campaign with Ankur Wariko, nearby owner, co-founder? Just a suggestion, because a lot of people follow him for right kind of career advice. Automatically you'll get multiple
Yeah.
fold conversions. So as a brand you need to figure out what is one shot that I can take, because उससे ना आपका brand perception, brand का positioning भी identify होगा market में. Okay, and you can always charge double for what you are offering. दूसरी साइड पे जो कन्वर्जन रेट है that will improvise, because people will now see you as a brand which they have already witnessed somewhere else while you are trying to convert them. So हर बार LinkedIn नहीं, but हाँ, LinkedIn is good if you are actually pushing out some kind of research, some kind of fact on the face which people don't know according to you.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea to have some influencer who has a good control or authority over this segment of people, I guess. Thank you for that. I'll definitely look into it. And also another thing that we are looking at is the LinkedIn newsletters. Any suggestions on that?
Again, I'll say what is the content that is going to go out.
So the content will be mostly researches based on the kind of jobs that are happening around.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Do a beautiful visual and shoot it out.
So on the newsletter, should we stick to a particular genre of things? Like if I'm talking about jobs specifically, should all the newsletters go in that particular segment only, or can I shift tracks to, though mostly it will be about jobs, but it could be about some. So we are also
See,
into
you are
upskilling, right? So
so you can always do A/B testing. Once you are Naukri.com of the universe, then you can not do much. But at this stage, do A/B testing as much as you can, because it will not cost you. वो conversion तो वैसे भी अभी हुए नहीं है जिनको जा रहा है.
got it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's my answer. Thank you so much, Agam.
Pleasure.
Yeah, hello. This is a good session, very crisp and short and crisp. Thank you. And yeah, I just wanted to ask you one simple, one question, sir. We have been facing actually whether we should use this social media as a main, as a main platform to customer acquisition, or should we go on a traditional, we should also use this traditional, or we should use some, mix of these two. How we should go about?
Sir, so the answer lies in the fact that what is the kind of CTA and communication you want to do. So मैं बताता हूँ sir, and I'm sure you'll be able to correlate the strategy that Amul has been using. Plain, on newspaper, relevant to the moment that is happening. So what medium you choose is absolutely different, depending upon what is the communication you want to make and to whom. And it is all, and almost 90% of the cases when you use a non approached by all medium to communicate and market yourself, and if you have done the communication right, it gives you n number of percentage high result than any other thing. So if you just close your eyes, you will see all ad techs are doing social media, digital, do performance campaigns, do emailer blast, do this. This is happening. I'm not saying it is not relevant. It is the backbone of the business. This is how your business is coming. But if you want to just multiply it, can you do some innovation? As I and Pratham was speaking, Ankur Wariko, he can invite. I'm just giving a reference of Ankur Wariko, which was relevant to his business. So what is the one innovation that you can do on other mediums? It will amplify your reach, talking points, and conversions. And every medium is beautiful, sir. There are n number of stories of outdoors, events, PR, etc.
Yeah.
Can you just help your audience with a kind of podcast?
Yeah, we started recently. We started developing this educational content for through YouTube, and we are getting some calls also. Apart from that, we have started developing some, conducting regular webinars, free webinars. That is also attracting some good
Yes.
number of viewers.
You are blessed that you are in a phase of business where you can do A/B testing. Do a lot of it.
Yes.
Make it crazy, because the audience that you are dealing with are crazy most of the time.
Thank you. Yes.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure. All the best for your business.
Great. I
Thank
think
you.
thank you so much, Agam, for your time and for those lovely insights. And thanks to all the startup founders for attending today's session.